In the quiet between heartbeats, your body listens. It listens to the soft hum of blood, to the rhythm of breath, to the pulse of life that never quite stops moving beneath your skin. Healing begins there. Not in noise, not in rush, but in the silence where every cell remembers what it was made for. If you close your eyes, you can almost hear it. The whisper of repair, like moonlight dripping through the branches of a sleeping forest. Your body, that ancient cathedral of atoms, is always mending, always remembering how to become whole again. Even now, as you rest, it gathers its strength, tending to every hidden fracture and forgotten ache. Every wound tells a story, and every cell is a storyteller. When you scrape your knee, when your heart breaks, when a single thought leaves a bruise behind your eyes, somewhere deep inside, a signal sparks. The body calls its quiet army. Cells awaken, dividing, multiplying, sending messages like tiny lanterns across rivers of blood. They do not rush. They do not panic. They simply know what to do. There is wisdom in the stillness of your flesh. Each moment of rest is a meeting between mind and matter, an unspoken agreement to trust the process that has kept you alive since the beginning of time. Long before you learned the word healing, the stars had already taught your atoms the pattern. They knew how to mend long before you were born. You are made of the same elements that forged galaxies: hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, the dust of dying stars. When those stars exploded, they scattered the materials of renewal across the cosmos. Eventually, those elements drifted here, settled into oceans, into soil, into the breath you just took. The story of healing began there, in the heart of a collapsing sun. Each night, when you sleep, that ancient intelligence awakens. Muscles unwind, tissues knit themselves quietly back together. Tiny repairs happen beneath the surface, where you will never see them. Broken strands of DNA are rewritten. Memories are sorted, cleansed, restored. Your body recreates its balance one heartbeat at a time. Even pain has its purpose. It is not the enemy of healing, but the messenger. Pain says, "Here, look, pay attention." It invites compassion toward your own being. Without pain, you might never pause long enough to rest. You might never notice how miraculous it is that a body can recover at all. Think of a small cut on your hand. At first it bleeds, a tiny crimson universe opening for a moment. Then, almost immediately, platelets gather, forming a fragile bridge. Fibrin threads weave themselves into a net, catching cells like starlight in a spider's web. The wound seals, the tissue strengthens, and within days, it is as if the injury never happened. Quietly, without your command, you are made new. The same happens within your heart. Though the tissue of emotion cannot be seen under a microscope, it follows its own kind of biology. Time, kindness, forgiveness. These are its platelets, its fibers, its living thread. When someone hurts you, when life breaks something invisible inside, your spirit sends its own silent healers. A conversation, a sunrise, a song. These become medicine. Breathe. Feel how air travels through you like a river smoothing stones. Each inhale brings in possibility. Each exhale releases what no longer serves. Even breath is an act of healing. The oxygen that enters your lungs fuels the tiny engines of your cells, allowing them to mend, to grow, to remember. When you rest, the parasympathetic part of your nervous system, the one devoted to restoration, begins to hum softly. Your heart slows, your digestion deepens, your immune cells become attentive. It is as though the universe itself lowers its voice and whispers, "It's safe now." Every organism in nature knows this rhythm. Trees shed leaves to heal from drought. Rivers carve new paths when the old ones dry. Even light, when bent by gravity, finds a new direction. Healing is not the act of returning to what once was. It is the art of becoming whole in a different shape. So tonight, let yourself drift. Let your thoughts float like dust in a sunbeam. Somewhere inside you, trillions of tiny miracles are at work. They ask for nothing but stillness. They do not demand that you understand them, only that you trust them. You are not broken. You are transforming. The body you live in, the mind you carry, the breath you take, all of it is participating in the quiet work of renewal. Healing is not a destination. It is the soft music playing beneath everything, even now. Somewhere deep in the marrow of your bones, 1,000 tiny factories glow with invisible light. They build the cells that will carry oxygen tomorrow. They prepare the blood that will flow through 1,000 hidden rivers in you. You do not need to tell them what to do. They simply remember. They have always remembered. This is the secret language of healing. It does not shout. It does not rush. It whispers the same word again and again. Continue. Every heartbeat is a repetition of that word. Every breath a translation of it into motion. Even when you feel still, you are never still. The chemistry of becoming continues without pause. When sunlight touches your skin, a silent transformation begins. Photons fall through air and meet the surface of your body. In that instant, molecules wake. Vitamin D begins to form, bones quietly strengthen, immune cells learn the taste of light. The skin, which seems only to separate you from the world, is actually a place where the world enters you gently, reminding you that healing is not isolation, it is conversation. Each nerve carries a story backward and forward. They are the messengers of sensation, but also of repair. When a signal of pain travels up toward the brain, another signal travels down, bringing calm. The brain releases endorphins, little gifts of ease, to soothe the places that ache. The body is not at war with itself. It is 1,000 hands working in harmony. If you listen closely, even silence has a pulse. The space between heartbeats is filled with intention. The pauses between breaths hold the shape of tomorrow. The stillness you feel right now is not empty. It is the workshop of restoration. Imagine for a moment that you could see the body's work as light. You would notice faint sparks at the edges of wounds, threads of glow weaving through muscle, clusters of gold gathering at every point of inflammation. You would see the brain flickering like a slow aurora as it rearranges memories, deciding which to keep, which to let go. The entire body would shimmer like a galaxy, reorganizing itself after a storm. Every thought you think leaves a trace, and every gentle thought heals. When you forgive yourself for being tired, when you allow yourself to rest, the chemistry of healing changes. Cortisol, the hormone of stress, begins to fade. Serotonin and oxytocin rise, painting your bloodstream with softness. The immune system responds as if it has been given permission to breathe again. There is a reason you feel comfort in warm hands, in kind words, in quiet rooms. The body does not heal alone. It listens to everything around it. Touch, light, sound, and emotion are all instruments in the orchestra of recovery. Think of water. When you drink it, it does not simply quench thirst. It becomes you. It slides into your cells, supports the chemistry of energy, and carries away what no longer serves. Every molecule of water inside you once belonged to clouds, rivers, and rain. Healing, then, is not just a personal act. It is a conversation between you and the entire planet. Your heartbeat is older than your name. It began long before you were born, when a cluster of cells first decided to move in rhythm. Even now, as you read or listen, it keeps that rhythm without asking. When you sleep, when you cry, when you laugh, it does not judge, it just continues. This is what healing feels like, a constancy beneath the waves of feeling. When you close your eyes at night, your mind replays the day like a tide rolling over sand. Some memories stay, others dissolve. This washing and rewashing is how your brain heals. It takes what was heavy and smooths it, turning sharp moments into soft edges. Dreams are part of that process. In them, you revisit the past, rearrange it, make peace with it. The mind rehearses healing so the body can follow. And in the morning, the first breath after waking is a quiet celebration. It says, "I am still here." The work continues. No matter what has been broken, life has not abandoned you. The very structure of existence leans toward restoration. The gentle rhythm of your breath keeps time with something far older than you can name. Long before there were words, before there were languages to describe repair, the first single cells learned to fix themselves. When a membrane tore, the cell folded its edges inward, sealed the gap, and continued dividing. You carry that same memory. Every cell in you still knows how to gather its edges when something opens, still knows how to draw the world inward and begin again. Healing is not a miracle that visits the chosen. It is the oldest habit of life. Watch a plant that's been bent by wind. The stem leans for a while, then thickens at the bend. The wound becomes strength. The tree that's been struck by lightning sprouts green from the split trunk. The crack fills with light and rain, and somehow it lives. So do you. Inside you, blood travels through narrow paths, sometimes slowed by fatigue or grief. But the moment a vessel feels strain, muscles tighten to help it. The heartbeat shifts its rhythm to push more gently, and the body rebalances itself. There is nothing random about this quiet choreography. Every change, every pulse, is a negotiation with survival. When you are sick, it may feel as though your body has turned against you. In truth, it's protecting you with all it has. Fever is not an attack. It's a conversation between your immune cells and the world outside. They raise the temperature to slow invaders, to give your defenses the advantage. Fatigue isn't failure. It's an instruction. Be still. Let us work. Even inflammation, that heat and swelling that feels like pain, is the gathering of helpers at the site of need. You hurt because healing is happening. In the deepest layers of your skin, collagen fibers knit themselves together like weavers mending cloth. Enzymes glide between them, trimming what is frayed, strengthening what remains. Under microscopes, the pattern looks like lace spun of light. In your bones, minerals dissolve and reform each day, shaping you anew as you rest, as you move, as you dream. You are never exactly the same person twice. Healing doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it looks like forgetting, like laughter returning without reason, like the sudden sweetness of food you thought you'd lost the taste for. The heart heals in metaphors, not in measurable data. A song that used to make you cry now simply makes you quiet. A name that once stung becomes only a sound. In that small shift, an entire landscape has mended. The mind joins the body in this work. Neurons reach for each other, building new paths where old ones broke. Every time you learn something kind about yourself, new connections form, tiny bridges across once empty space. You might feel it as relief or as a deep breath that finally reaches the bottom of your lungs. Science calls it neuroplasticity, The spirit calls it grace. All the while, the world outside you participates. The color of morning light tells your hormones when to wake, when to rest, when to repair. The smell of soil after rain calms your pulse. The sound of waves slows your breathing until it matches the ocean's pattern. You are not separate from any of it. Healing happens in relationship, with air, with gravity, with every rhythm larger than your own. Sometimes the most powerful medicine is the absence of doing. When you stop trying to fix, the body finds its own way. When you forgive yourself for not being there yet, chemistry follows forgiveness like a compass finding north. There is an elegance to surrender. It lets the smaller forces do their work. Close your eyes again and imagine your body as a landscape seen from above. Rivers of blood, forests of tissue, mountains of bone. In the valleys, light gathers. The rivers carry what must leave. The forests grow back, tender and green. Wind moves through you. The soft electrical current of nerves, the sigh of exhalation. Somewhere in that landscape, a wound glows faintly, and around it the earth mends itself. That glow will fade, not into darkness, but into wholeness. To heal is to trust the unseen. It is to believe that under the surface, repair is always in motion. The cell divides, the tissue renews, the heart learns its new rhythm. Even loss has its own biology. One part of you carries the memory of what was lost. Another part begins to build what will take its place. That balance is the quiet mathematics of life. When night comes, let the darkness be kind. It is not an end, but a shelter. Inside sleep, your body replays the choreography of growth and restoration. Proteins fold, nerves rewire, the immune system patrols. Dreaming is not escape, it is rehearsal for peace. You wake lighter because while you rested, a million unseen hands were working. Healing rarely feels like victory. It feels like breathing again after holding your breath too long. It feels like the absence of tension, like the body finally remembering that it belongs to the earth and the air. It feels like quiet. That quiet is your proof. Some nights you lie awake and wonder if the ache will ever fade. You trace it like a constellation you already know too well. Yet even in those long hours, something small and patient moves through you. White cells patrol the edges of a cold, finding the virus and carrying it away. Muscles that trembled earlier start to release lactic acid. The heart, though heavy, keeps its rhythm. Healing does not depend on your awareness. It only asks for time. There is a rhythm that belongs to scars. First they burn, then they pull, then they soften. Beneath them, nerves learn to speak again, shyly, like children meeting after a quarrel. The skin remembers how to stretch without fear. The memory of injury remains, but it loses its sharpness. It becomes a map, not a wound. In your bloodstream, 1 billion red cells finish their brief lives each day. Each one travels, delivers, and then yields its place. New cells rise behind them, young and ready. The cycle is so complete that you never notice the endings. Life knows how to replace itself quietly. Inside your gut, where trillions of microbes live, repair takes on another form. Every bite you eat becomes instruction. Fibers become fuel for bacteria that soothe inflammation. Amino acids rebuild muscle. Minerals carry signals that tell organs how to rest. Even the act of chewing begins the process. Saliva breaking down starch. Taste waking memories. Pleasure turning into chemistry. The body does not separate nourishment from joy. Both are part of recovery. When grief sits in the chest, the same laws apply. Tears carry stress hormones out of the bloodstream. Crying is not weakness. It's chemistry's way of resetting balance. The salt on your skin is proof that your inner ocean has tides. When the sobs fade, the lungs fill more deeply, the diaphragm drops, and oxygen returns like forgiveness. Every living thing shares this design. When a sea star loses an arm, it grows another. When coral bleaches, the ocean waits, and life slowly returns with color. The earth heals itself in seasons. You do too. Winter may strip you bare, but beneath the frost, cells are preparing for spring. Light has its own healing pattern. In hospitals, newborns with jaundice rest under blue lamps that mimic the sky. The light breaks down excess pigment, freeing the body to begin again. On winter mornings, sunlight through a window lifts mood chemicals in the brain. Your eyes are gateways for healing energy that does not need belief, only exposure. Think of how you speak to yourself. Each word is a molecule. Harsh words harden tissue, tighten breath, close the throat. Gentle words relax muscle, invite oxygen, open space inside the chest. The body listens to tone more than meaning. Whisper to yourself as you would to a child waking from a nightmare. Tell yourself you are safe. The chemistry will follow. There is no straight path to wholeness. The body swells and calms, the mind hopes and doubts. Some days you will feel whole, others scattered. Both states are part of repair. Even stars flicker as they burn. Stability is not the goal. Balance is, a dance between breaking and building. Somewhere, deep in the liver, enzymes are cleaning your blood, folding toxins into harmless shapes. In the kidneys, filters catch what must leave, and in that act of release, the rest of you grows lighter. Healing often hides in these quiet exiles, the letting go of what you no longer need. Notice how your breath slows when you listen to the sound of rain. The nervous system reads that rhythm as safety. It remembers ancient caves, the hush of night storms. Serotonin rises, blood pressure eases, muscles soften. The weather heals you because you are made of the same water and air. Healing has its own kind of patience. It never asks you to hurry. It simply waits for you to stop fighting long enough for it to work. The body, left to its own intelligence, leans always toward balance. The same force that closes a wound guides a seed through soil, pulls tides back toward shore, keeps galaxies from flying apart. You are part of that physics. So tonight, when you feel the world pressing against you, remember the space inside where repair is already happening. Picture it as light traveling through water, bending but never breaking. Let your body follow that movement, slow and forgiving. With each breath, you return a little more to yourself. There is a kind of wisdom that only comes when you stop trying to control the healing. It lives in the spaces between your thoughts, where the breath moves without effort. When you stop chasing recovery, you begin to notice that it was already unfolding, not in leaps and miracles, but in quiet, rhythmic waves. Healing does not arrive as thunder. It drifts in like mist, unnoticed until you realize you can breathe again without the weight you carried before. The body repairs itself in a language older than words. The stretch of muscle fiber, the spark of a neuron, the pulse of mitochondria releasing energy. Each cell is fluent in recovery. If you could shrink yourself down, past skin and bone, and wander through the corridors of your own bloodstream, you'd see beauty in the order. Tiny platelets moving like silent carp in a red river. Immune cells glowing faintly, drifting through plasma, scanning, repairing, remembering. It would feel like walking through a quiet city at night, where every window glows with soft golden light, each one doing its small part to keep the whole alive. Every breath you take is a new contract with the universe, You exchange what you no longer need for what sustains you. The oxygen you draw in may have once passed through a leaf or the lungs of another creature. Healing, in that sense, is never solitary. It's a shared act between all living things. You heal because the world around you is constantly offering the materials to do so. And just as your body knows how to mend, so does your mind. Though the mind prefers to move slower, taking its time to believe the danger is gone, sometimes it clings to pain as proof that the past was real. But even then, there is restoration beneath the fear. Neurons that once fired with panic begin to quiet. New connections grow, new pathways form, until one morning you realize the memory no longer hurts. It's simply something that happened, a wave that broke and returned to sea. Emotional healing is not about forgetting, it's about integrating. Your body does not erase scars, it reweaves them into the fabric of who you are. Every healed place becomes stronger than it was before. The same applies to your heart. Every time it mends, it grows in capacity, not just to endure, but to love. The rhythm of the heart is the rhythm of the tide. Each contraction a gathering, each release a letting go. This is the essence of healing. To hold, then to surrender. To breathe in what is needed, and to breathe out what no longer serves. Somewhere, deep down, your body already knows this pattern. You were born into it. When you rest, the body doesn't stop. It begins its most intricate work. The brain cleans itself with cerebrospinal fluid, washing away toxins like a tide rinsing the shore. Muscles knit back together, cells regenerate, hormones recalibrate. Sleep is not the absence of activity, it's the choreography of recovery. Every dream you have is part of that dance, a slow sorting of memory and meaning, an inner symphony that only plays when you're still enough to listen. Even the smallest wounds respond to your patience. A cut on your hand gathers its borders, weaves a bridge of collagen, and seals itself. Inside, the same process happens on levels you cannot see. Emotional cuts closing, invisible bruises fading, old shocks losing their sharpness. Healing does not need to be visible to be real. There is an elegance in this slowness. Trees do not rush to grow back their leaves after winter. Rivers do not push themselves toward the sea. They flow naturally, pulled by something greater. You too are carried by that same unseen current, the steady gravity of life pulling you toward wholeness. Sometimes the world tells you to move on, as if healing were a race. But true healing asks for the opposite, to slow down, to notice, to let time soften the edges, to be still long enough for your body to remember what safety feels like. Because healing is not about going back to who you were. It's about becoming someone new, shaped by everything you've survived. If you listen closely, you can feel it, not as a sensation, but as a quiet assurance beneath your ribs. The pulse that says, you're still here. The warmth that says, it's not over. The whisper that says, keep going. And if tonight your body feels heavy, or your thoughts are restless, let that be okay too. Healing doesn't ask for perfection. It asks only for permission. Permission to rest, to slow, to exist without expectation. You are allowed to simply be. The earth heals in seasons. So do you. Let the night be your winter. Still, cool, restorative. Let morning be your spring, gentle and bright, returning you to light. Healing isn't something you do, it's something you allow. And even now, as you listen, it's already happening. Some healing begins before you even notice it. In the small, invisible ways, your body adjusts when the world feels too sharp. When you sigh, not out of defeat but release. That's your nervous system exhaling the pressure it can no longer hold. When you yawn in the middle of worry, that's your body's secret signal that it's trying to calm itself. Every moment you pause, your biology whispers, "I am finding my way back." Inside you, trillions of cells move in quiet orchestration. Each one knows its role in your recovery. Some rebuild tissue, others clean up the remnants of old pain. It's a teamwork so profound that even silence cannot capture it. Your body is an entire universe of restoration, humming in the language of balance. And while your body works, the mind learns to catch up. It learns to trust again, not in a hurry, but slowly, like dawn breaking after a long night. You start to notice moments that feel lighter, breaths that feel fuller. It doesn't mean the pain never existed. It means you're no longer living inside it. When you close your eyes at night, your body shifts from surviving to healing. Your heartbeat slows. Your brain waves lengthen into smooth patterns that carry you toward deep rest. The parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and repair mode, begins its quiet reign. Every slow breath you take signals to your body, it's safe to heal now. There is something sacred about this safety. It cannot be forced, it must be remembered. Like a forest that regrows after fire, first the ashes, then the seeds, then the green shoots returning through the dark soil. That's you, quietly, beautifully rebuilding. Sometimes healing looks like stillness. Sometimes it looks like crying, without knowing why. Sometimes it looks like laughter coming back after weeks of silence. All of it is the same song, just different verses. If you ever feel like you're not healing fast enough, imagine this. A tree that was once broken by wind doesn't rush its branches to mend. It stands still, letting sunlight and time do their slow, invisible work. You too are rooted in that same wisdom. You don't need to chase your wholeness. It's already growing beneath the surface. There is a science to every sigh of relief. When you let go of tension, your brain releases oxytocin, a molecule of trust, connection, and comfort. Your heart rate adjusts, your blood pressure lowers, your immune system strengthens in quiet celebration. Every gentle act of self-kindness, every soft thought, becomes biology. Healing is not a miracle that happens once. It's a rhythm that hums beneath everything you do. When you drink water and your body hydrates each cell, that's healing. When you rest your eyes after staring too long, that's healing. When you forgive yourself for what you didn't know, that's healing too. The earth heals through cycles, and you are no different. There are times to expand and times to withdraw, moments to bloom and moments to fall back into silence. This is not weakness. This is nature remembering its pace. Even galaxies breathe in and out. Stars are born, they burn, they rest in light again. Why should your recovery be any less cosmic? Some nights, healing will feel like loneliness, but that solitude is only space. Space being made for what's coming next. The heart needs emptiness before it can fill again, like a cup that must be cleaned before new water can pour in. Your emptiness is not a void, it's preparation. In the vast dark theater of your mind, dreams begin their gentle repairs. Neural pathways strengthen, emotional patterns reorganize. Your body rehearses the next day in silence, correcting what was misaligned. This is the nightly maintenance of being alive. It's the universe saying, you have another chance tomorrow. You are not behind in your healing. You are right on time for the version of yourself that is being written in this moment. Because healing is not a return, it's a becoming. Every scar, every silence, every slow breath is shaping you into something wiser, softer, stronger. If you could listen close enough, you'd hear it. The heartbeat echoing not as a drum of survival, but a hymn of renewal. It says, I'm still here. It says, I'm still growing. It says, I'm still enough. So tonight, let the healing happen without agenda. Let gravity pull your thoughts down into the mattress. Let the night cradle you like soil cradles a seed. You don't need to bloom yet. Just rest. The light will find you when it's time. Somewhere inside you, there's a quiet intelligence that never stops working. Even when your mind is heavy, even when your heart aches, that quiet current keeps flowing. It mends what's broken, rebalances what's lost, and waits patiently for you to notice its work. You are not the architect of your healing. You are the landscape where it happens. Think of your breath. Each inhale gathers what the universe offers: oxygen, energy, hope. Each exhale releases what your body no longer needs: carbon, tension, old stories. You've done this since the very first moment you arrived here, and you'll do it until your last. Every breath is a tiny ceremony of cleansing, the most ancient form of healing, invisible but endless. If you were to look inside your bloodstream under a microscope, you'd see an entire cosmos in motion. Rivers of plasma carrying stars of oxygen, tiny particles exchanging messages of survival. Each heartbeat is a sunrise to the cells waiting downstream. They live, work, and die with purpose, proof that even in endings, there is meaning. When you rest, your cells rebuild in silence. DNA strands unwind, copy, and repair their own code. Broken proteins are folded again into perfect form. Old tissues are replaced by new growth, stronger, more precise. Your body does not need instruction to heal. It remembers. Every atom in you once belonged to something that survived. Healing doesn't always come with peace. Sometimes it comes with the ache of stretching into something new. Like bones growing, like hearts learning to trust again. The pain is not punishment, it's a sign of movement. Something inside you is rearranging itself toward wholeness. When the world feels too loud, your body knows how to dim the sound. Your nervous system lowers its volume, pulls the senses inward, and protects the fragile parts. This is not weakness, it's wisdom. The same way flowers close at night, you close to conserve light. And then, when safety returns, you open again. slowly, gently, like dawn remembering how to rise. That opening, that willingness to try again, is the truest mark of healing. There's a kind of repair that doesn't happen in the body, but in the stories we tell ourselves. The story that says, I am broken. The story that says, I am behind. The story that says, I must earn rest. Each of these becomes part of the wound. Healing begins when you start to rewrite them, not with sudden certainty, but with small, quiet truths. I am learning. I am enough. I am still becoming. The brain listens to repetition. Every gentle thought you repeat carves a new neural path, like a stream carving a canyon, one drop at a time. You are literally reshaping your mind through kindness. That's not poetry. That's neuroplasticity. Science and grace meeting in the same moment. You may not notice the shift as it happens. But one day, the thoughts that used to hurt you lose their sharpness. Their edges dull, their voices fade, and what replaces them is a softness you once thought impossible. Even silence heals you. Moments without words give your mind time to breathe. Your brain waves slow, your muscles unclench, your heart finds rhythm again. In that stillness, your internal systems align, digestion improves, hormones balance, and the body returns to homeostasis. It's what nature intended. The same way the ocean calms itself after a storm, you too have tides that always return to peace. You may not control the waves, but you can trust their rhythm, because rhythm is the oldest form of safety. Heartbeat, breath, footsteps, all reminders that life moves in patterns, not straight lines. Sometimes the body heals faster than the heart. Scars fade, while memories still sting. And that's okay. Emotional wounds don't obey the laws of medicine. They follow the slower, softer law of meaning. Each feeling wants to be acknowledged before it disappears. So when you ache, try listening instead of fixing. The body heals through chemistry, but the heart heals through presence. You don't have to rush your recovery. Healing has no schedule. Some flowers bloom in days, others in decades. The soil never asks them why. Neither should you. Every time you smile again, even for a second, something real happens inside you. Dopamine rises, cortisol drops, and the chemistry of hope begins to stir. That's not pretending. It's rewiring. It's your body learning what safety feels like again. And slowly, gently, the night begins to fade. Not all at once, just in shades. You wake to a world that feels a little lighter. Not because the pain is gone, but because it no longer owns you. You carry it differently now, not as a burden, but as proof. Proof that you survived, proof that you grew, proof that healing is not a destination, it's your nature. So tonight, when you close your eyes, imagine light traveling through your veins. Soft, golden, patient. It moves from your chest to your fingertips, down your legs, wrapping every cell in quiet warmth. It hums. You are safe. You are loved. You are healing. Let the body listen. Let the night do its work. Let yourself rest in the sacred scientific truth that healing isn't something you chase. It's something you remember. Time has a texture you can't always feel. Sometimes it passes like wind, invisible, constant, unnoticed. Other times it moves like honey, thick, slow, clinging to every moment of pain. But time itself is part of the healing. It is not the enemy of your wounds. It is their patient companion. Deep inside your tissues, time measures itself in rhythms. The slow division of cells, the quiet regrowth of capillaries, the rebuilding of bone. Even in stillness, repair is happening. A tiny pulse of life repeating one instruction: restore, restore, restore. Think of how forests heal after fire. At first, everything looks lost. Ash, silence, smoke. But beneath the blackened soil, seeds wait. They need the heat to open. And when the rain returns, green shoots rise through the gray. That is the science of resilience. Renewal hidden in ruin. You carry that same design in your DNA. Your bones remember sunlight. They store calcium, built from light absorbed by your skin, transformed into vitamin D, turned into structure, turned into strength. Every walk outside is an act of restoration. The breeze, the color of leaves, the smell of earth. They speak to parts of you language can't reach. Nature was your first medicine, and it still is. When you walk near water, your body begins to mirror its rhythm. The heartbeat slows to match the waves. The brain releases serotonin, the molecule of calm. Even without touch, water heals. It listens, reflects, softens sound. That's why the sea feels like a lullaby, and why a river's murmur sounds like forgiveness. Forgiveness itself is another form of biology. When you hold anger too long, your body carries it as tension. Tight shoulders, shallow breath, racing heart. But when you let go, cortisol falls, the immune system strengthens, and blood pressure finds peace again. To forgive is not to forget. It's to stop drinking the poison meant for someone else. You are freeing yourself at the molecular level. There is a grace in imperfection that we often overlook. Wabi-sabi, the Japanese word for the beauty of the flawed, teaches that cracks and scars are not signs of failure. They are how light enters the story. Even in neuroscience, this truth holds. Damaged neurons can rewire themselves around the injury, finding new routes, new pathways, new beginnings. Broken does not mean ended. It means rewritten. You are not who you were before the pain, but that is not a loss. Healing changes the shape of who you are, making space for compassion, empathy, understanding. The heart that has cracked open learns to hold more light. The mind that has quieted learns to listen deeper. This is evolution at the level of soul. Sometimes, the body heals faster than the story we tell about it. You might still call yourself broken long after you've mended. You might rehearse old pain long after it's left your bones. That's because memory is sticky. Neurons wire together through repetition, replaying the same old symphony of ache. But repetition works both ways. Gentle words, spoken daily, form new circuits. Every time you say, "I am safe now," you are reprogramming your biology to believe it. The nervous system learns safety through experience, not logic. That's why small rituals matter. Lighting a candle, listening to rain, sitting beneath a tree. Each act tells your body, it's okay to rest. Over time, the body learns to trust again. That trust is the doorway to peace. Your heart is a muscle, yes, but also a memory. It remembers every rhythm it has ever survived, every heartbreak, every joy, every pulse of fear and recovery. And still, it beats. Not because it's unbroken, but because it knows how to repair itself between each beat. That's what healing looks like. Not perfection, but persistence. The body's wisdom is circular. You fall apart, and you rebuild. You forget, and you remember. You break, and you mend in new patterns. The pattern itself becomes your strength. The universe moves the same way. Stars collapse into themselves, only to ignite again as new light. Galaxies die, and their dust becomes planets. Nothing truly ends. It only transforms. So when you feel lost, remember, you are stardust mid-transformation. You are not falling apart. You are rearranging into something luminous. Healing asks for surrender, not control. It asks you to stop demanding explanations and simply trust the slow intelligence within. Your body knows what to do when you sleep. Your mind knows how to dream you whole again. All you must do is rest long enough to let them work together. Rest is the oldest medicine. Sleep is how the body tells its story back to itself. In dreams, memories are sorted, pain is softened, and the heart replays love until it feels true again. The night is not the end of the day. It's the beginning of repair. And when morning comes, you rise not as the same person who fell asleep, but as someone slightly more complete. Your cells have rebuilt. Your mind has reorganized. Your soul, even if still tender, has learned one more lesson in patience. The truth is, you don't need to be whole to be beautiful. You don't need to be unscarred to be strong. You don't need to rush toward peace. It will find you when you're ready. Healing is not a single moment of light. It is a lifetime of small sunrises within you. So, breathe deeply. Lay your worries down like leaves on a river. Let the current of life carry them away. You don't need to do anything tonight except exist. The world is already conspiring for your recovery. The cells, the air, the stars, all whispering the same truth. You are healing even now. Love is not only an emotion, it's a biological current, a vibration that reshapes everything it touches. When you feel loved, truly seen, truly safe, your cells respond. The brain releases oxytocin, softening the edges of fear. The heartbeat steadies. The immune system strengthens. Even the smallest touch, the simplest kindness, changes your chemistry. That's the secret science of affection. Every warm word, every gentle glance, every act of forgiveness is medicine written in the language of molecules. You are healed not just by time or treatment, but by the quiet grace of connection. Love is the light your nervous system understands best. It does not blind. It soothes. It wraps around you like dusk around a lake, calm and constant. You do not have to chase it, only allow it. Because love, real love, doesn't demand proof. It simply reminds you that you are worthy of rest. Rest, the simplest form of repair. When the body sleeps, it performs miracles too quiet to name. The heart slows its rhythm. Blood pressure softens like rain easing into earth. The brain cleans itself through the lymphatic system, washing away the toxins of thought and fatigue. Neurons reorganize their memories, keeping what matters, releasing what no longer does. This is not laziness. It's life maintaining its balance. Dreams are the language of the repair process. They are your mind's way of rewriting pain in metaphors you can survive. When you dream of falling, it's your brain rehearsing trust. When you dream of flight, it's remembering freedom. When you dream of people you've lost, it's the heart practicing release. Every dream, no matter how strange, is a kind of medicine. You are never more alive than when you sleep. Each breath feeds the restoration process. Each pulse delivers energy to rebuilding cells. Your body glows faintly in the dark, a bioluminescent constellation of work and wonder. You are, in truth, a galaxy healing itself. And beyond that body, the universe continues the same pattern. Stars are born, they shine, they collapse, and they begin again. Their dust forms new worlds. Their light travels centuries to reach your eyes. The very atoms inside you, the iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, were forged in stellar explosions long before the Earth existed. You are not separate from the stars. You are their memory. Healing, then, is not just human. It's cosmic. You are the universe remembering how to restore itself. When you close your eyes tonight, imagine this. Every cell in your body flickers like a star. Each one holds a tiny pulse of intelligence, communicating with the others through silent signals of light and vibration. This inner cosmos knows what to do. You don't have to command it, only trust it. Your only task is to rest and receive. Forgiveness, love, rest, light. They are not separate things. They are all forms of returning. Returning to yourself after being pulled apart by the noise of the world. Returning to balance, to softness, to breath. Returning to the original rhythm that existed long before words. The steady, endless heartbeat of life itself. When you forgive someone, you stop replaying the same chemical storm in your body. You free your heart from cortisol's grip. You make room for serotonin, for calm, for clarity. Forgiveness is not about the past. It's about freeing your future. It is how your spirit detoxifies. When you love yourself, others, the small moments between, your brain releases endorphins, natural opioids that dull pain and lift the edges of despair. Every act of kindness strengthens neural pathways of hope. Love is not abstract, it's anatomy. It's the science of connection transforming into peace. Even silence loves you. When the world grows still, your nervous system has a chance to reset its rhythm. The quiet between sounds becomes medicine. The absence of effort becomes prayer. In that calm, your body remembers what it was designed to do, to breathe, to balance, to live without fear. If you could see yourself from above, if you could see your body as light instead of form, you would notice how it glows at rest, how the aura around you hums softly when you're at peace, how every thought, every sigh, every release of tension sends ripples through the fabric of space around you. You are more than skin and heartbeat. You are a field of energy learning to sing again. And it's okay if you're not finished healing. It's okay if you wake up some days still aching. Healing is not a straight road, it's a spiral. You revisit the same lessons, but each time you see them from a higher place. You are rising even when you circle back. There will be nights when rest won't come easily, when thoughts spin like constellations you can't name. That's all right. Even when you can't sleep, the body still restores. It still regulates hormones, still cleans the blood, still keeps the rhythm of survival going. Healing doesn't stop because you can't rest. It waits patiently until you do. So, breathe. Breathe slowly, deeply, with no agenda. Let the breath find its own pace, the way waves find the shore without trying. Let your heartbeat guide you home. Let your mind wander to quiet galaxies where pain has no language. There is no rush, no deadline, no wrong way to return to yourself. The fact that you're here, breathing, listening, that's proof enough that healing is happening. Maybe not loudly, but gently, invisibly, faithfully. You are a constellation of recovery. You are an unfinished poem written in light. You are proof that even after the deepest fracture, the universe still believes in mending. So rest now. Let go of the noise. Let the night carry you like water. Everything broken in you is already learning how to shine again. You don't have to know how, you only have to allow. Because healing, in the end, is not something you do. It's something you become. Somewhere deep beneath the rhythm of your pulse, a quiet intelligence hums. It does not speak in words or thoughts, but in vibrations, tiny waves of light moving through every cell of your body. This is the language of life itself. The same vibration that trembles inside an atom's core echoes inside you. shaping your heartbeat, your mood, your recovery. You are not separate from the world. You are not a visitor here, observing the laws of nature. You are nature, a living translation of energy and matter, a conscious ripple in the cosmic sea. When you breathe, you are not just filling your lungs, you are exchanging stories with the universe. Every inhale carries oxygen once created by stars, and every exhale returns carbon for the trees to use. Your breath is a conversation between galaxies and green leaves, between what was and what will be. And when you slow it down, you bring harmony back to that ancient dialogue. Healing begins the moment you remember you belong, because separation, that quiet ache of feeling alone, is one of the greatest illusions the mind creates. In truth, nothing in nature heals alone. The ocean heals through tides. The forest heals through roots intertwined underground. The human heart heals through connection, through the invisible threads of empathy and presence. When someone listens to you, really listens, without fixing or judging, your brain releases chemicals that signal safety. Your muscles loosen. Your heart rate synchronizes with theirs. It's called co-regulation. It's how mammals have survived for millions of years, by calming each other through rhythm and attention. Healing, then, is not a solitary act. It's a shared vibration between souls. Even when you are alone in a quiet room, the earth beneath you is still singing. Every atom inside you vibrates with the hum of creation. That hum is not metaphorical. Physicists call it zero-point energy, the faint trembling of particles even in perfect stillness. There is no true silence in the universe. Every empty space is alive with potential. Every pause is full of becoming. So when you sit in stillness, you are resting in the very field that gave birth to stars. If you could listen deeply enough, you would hear that hum within yourself. It's the soft shimmer beneath your breath, the quiet pulse beneath your thoughts. That's the voice of your own being, ancient, patient, endlessly kind. It knows what to do. It knows how to heal. All it asks is that you stop interrupting it with fear. You are made of water mostly, billions of tiny molecules flowing together, carrying memory in ways we still don't fully understand. Scientists have found that even water can respond to sound, that it shifts its crystalline structure when exposed to certain frequencies. Imagine then what gentle words, music, and love do to you. You are mostly water, and water listens. When you speak to yourself kindly, you are literally changing your internal structure. Each "I forgive you," each "I am enough" rearranges the molecules inside you into something softer, clearer, freer. There's a reason whispers can heal. A gentle voice doesn't just reach your ears, it reaches your nervous system. It tells your body, you are safe now. And safety is the soil where healing grows. Without it, the body remains on alert, hoarding its energy for survival instead of repair. That's why kindness is not weakness. It's medicine. It's the reset switch for a weary system. Sometimes healing feels invisible. Days pass with no sign of progress, and you wonder if anything inside you is changing. But think of a wound beneath the surface, how it mends quietly, without witness. Or think of winter roots under frozen soil. They look lifeless, but they're preparing for bloom. You don't have to see the process for it to be real. Healing often happens in secret, in the soft conversations between your body and your soul. Even pain has a purpose. It's the body's way of asking for attention. Not punishment, not shame, just awareness. Pain is not your enemy, it's a messenger. It whispers, slow down, listen, care. And when you finally listen, the message softens. The body sighs, and healing begins. The universe heals in cycles, not straight lines. So does your heart. The tide comes in, then it leaves, then returns again. Cleaner, lighter, calmer. The same happens within you. The rise of emotion, the release of tears, the stillness that follows, that's your personal tide. You are the ocean learning its own rhythm again. Imagine now that you are lying on a gentle shore. The sand beneath you holds the day's warmth. Each wave that reaches you carries a little light, and as it recedes, it takes away what you no longer need. Fear, guilt, exhaustion. They dissolve into salt and silence. You don't have to fight them. Just let them drift away. Your heartbeat syncs with the sea. Your breath becomes the wind. And suddenly, you realize you were never separate from any of it. You are the tide, the breeze, the light between stars. You are healing because the universe never stopped healing through you. When you wake tomorrow, you may not remember this feeling clearly, but your body will. It will carry the memory of calm in its cells, the whisper of ocean rhythm in its blood. You'll move a little slower, breathe a little deeper, and the world will seem just slightly softer. That's how healing works, quietly, invisibly, faithfully. If you could see energy the way light does, you'd notice that nothing is ever truly broken. Everything simply changes form. Pain into wisdom, endings into beginnings, scars into maps of where you've been and what you've survived. Even stars that collapse into darkness eventually become the birthplaces of new light. Why would you be any different? You are the universe's experiment in renewal. And every day you continue, every breath you take in defiance of despair, is proof that creation never ends. Time is often seen as distance, a space between who we were and who we are now. But in truth, time is not a line. It's a rhythm. It moves through you like a tide, revisiting the same shores until they are smooth again. That's why some memories return, not to hurt you, but to be witnessed differently this time. They come back asking for gentler eyes. Every emotion you've ever felt left a trace inside you, not as burden, but as a pattern, a record of how deeply you've lived. Scientists call this cellular memory. Your cells remember how to protect, how to respond, how to adapt, but they also remember peace. When you rest, when you breathe deeply, they begin to replay that peace through your body like a soft music beneath thought. Even your heart holds memory. Not just metaphorically, physically. Within its muscle lies a network of neurons, a small heart brain that communicates with the mind. It doesn't think in logic, it feels in rhythm. When you are safe, its pattern is smooth and coherent, sending harmony through every system in your body. When you are afraid or hurt, the rhythm fractures and your body loses its song. But the miracle is this: the heart learns quickly. Give it one moment of real peace, and it remembers the tune again. This is why gratitude heals so powerfully. It's not just a mood, it's medicine. When you feel genuine thankfulness, your brain releases oxytocin and dopamine, your immune system strengthens, and your heart rhythm smooths into coherence. Gratitude tells the body, you are safe enough to grow again. It is the opposite of fear, and fear is what keeps wounds open. So when you whisper thank you, even without knowing why, you are opening a gate inside yourself. You are telling the universe, I trust your timing. And in that trust, the body finally exhales. Healing rushes in quietly, like a tide returning to an abandoned shore. Think of time not as something you pass through, but something that moves through you, constantly reshaping, cleaning, softening. Each breath you take is an act of rebirth. Each night you fall asleep, the body performs miracles, repairing cells, reorganizing thoughts, washing away fragments of fear. Dreams are not random static. They are the mind's way of integrating experience. They weave yesterday's chaos into something the soul can understand. When you dream of healing, you are healing. When you remember something painful and breathe through it, you are dissolving its hold. Your awareness itself is medicine. Light doesn't fight darkness, it reveals it. In the same way, love doesn't erase pain, it gives it context. There's a strange kindness hidden in time. Even when it feels like loss, it's quietly working for your renewal. The scars that once ached become reminders, not wounds. The heartbreak that once defined you becomes the soil where compassion grows. What once broke you becomes the reason you can now hold others with gentleness. If you could look inside your own cells under a microscope, you'd see constant creation. Right now, thousands of old cells are dying, and thousands of new ones are forming to replace them. Your body is not what it was last year, not even last month. Almost every part of you has changed. You are a living process, not a fixed thing. Healing is your default state. The body is always trying to return to harmony. It's the mind that forgets and resists. The immune system, the nervous system, the organs that keep you alive. They all speak the same language of balance. They are always listening, always adjusting, trying to create homeostasis. That quiet middle ground where everything functions just enough, without excess, without strain. That's why rest is not laziness. It's alignment. When you rest, you let the universe do its work through you. Sometimes the most powerful healing happens when you stop trying to heal at all, when you stop forcing progress and let grace find you instead. Like sunlight through a window, you don't have to chase it. You just need to stay open. Imagine your body as a forest. Every thought you think is a seed, every emotion a storm or a ray of light. When you speak softly to yourself, the trees grow tall and grounded. When you fill yourself with worry, the roots tense and struggle for air. But even then, nature finds a way. The forest waits for rain. The body waits for rest. Healing is never lost. It's only waiting for space to bloom again. In the rhythm of the cosmos, you are a single heartbeat, but a necessary one. Your energy influences more than you know. The calm you cultivate tonight ripples through others tomorrow. Every act of peace you practice becomes part of the invisible web that holds the world together. When you close your eyes now, the past doesn't vanish. It simply folds itself into wisdom. You carry that wisdom quietly, in your breath, in your skin, in your tone. It becomes the fragrance of calm that others feel around you. You become medicine, not just for yourself, but for everyone you touch. The universe learns through you. It experiences love through your kindness, forgiveness through your letting go, healing through your rest. You are not a passive observer in this cosmic design. You are part of its restoration. Every sigh, every tear, every moment of surrender is a sacred recalibration. Forgiveness is one of the strangest forces in the universe. It feels so invisible, so intangible, and yet it changes everything it touches. Forgiveness is not forgetting nor excusing. It's a release, a quiet decision to stop carrying what no longer belongs to you. When you forgive, you are not freeing the other person. You are freeing yourself from the gravity of what happened. Scientists studying the nervous system have found that resentment activates the same stress circuits as physical pain. Each time we replay a hurtful memory without releasing it, our body relives the wound. The muscles tense, the breath shortens, the immune system falters. Forgiveness, then, is not just spiritual, it's physiological. It resets the body's chemistry, allowing energy once trapped in protection to flow again into creation. To forgive is to return to flow. It's to allow the river of your energy to move forward, carrying wisdom instead of bitterness. And compassion is the bridge that helps you cross. Compassion is not pity. It's understanding without judgment. It's the recognition that suffering is universal, that pain is not proof of failure, but of feeling. When you look at another and see not their mistake, but the fear beneath it, something inside you heals too. Because in seeing their humanity, you remember your own. Every act of compassion changes your vibration. This isn't poetry, it's physics. When your body experiences empathy, your heart rhythm becomes coherent and your electromagnetic field expands. The heart's field can extend several feet beyond your body, subtly influencing those around you. That's why being near a calm, kind person feels different. Their nervous system is regulating yours. They are, in a quiet way, healing you simply by being. You can do the same. You already do, often without realizing it. Every time you forgive, you make the air around you lighter. Every time you choose kindness over reaction, you shift the frequency of your surroundings. The body is a transmitter of light, and your emotions are its signal. The cosmos itself seems to operate by this law of forgiveness, creation and destruction endlessly recycling matter. A star burns until it collapses, but even in death, its ashes seed new galaxies. Nothing is wasted, nothing truly lost. The universe forgives itself with every breath. You are built from that same mercy. If you've ever stood under the night sky and felt small, that was not your insignificance you were feeling. It was belonging. The stars above are not distant strangers. They are your ancestors. Every atom in your body was forged in stellar fire. You are quite literally star matter learning to heal itself. And just as the universe expands, so too does your heart, each act of forgiveness widening its horizon. When you hold on to pain, you constrict the flow of that expansion. But when you let go, even just a little, the universe inside you breathes again. Your cells release trapped energy, your heart rhythm steadies, and the space that pain once occupied fills with light. Forgiveness doesn't erase memory. It transforms its energy. It turns the wound into wisdom, the scar into strength. There is something deeply scientific about love. Every emotion creates measurable waves that ripple through your electromagnetic field. Fear contracts, gratitude expands, anger sharpens, compassion smooths, and love, real unconditional love, creates coherence across every system in the body. It's the state of perfect harmony, where the brain and heart beat in rhythm. The breath and pulse move as one. This is the biological signature of peace. It's no coincidence that meditation, prayer, or deep breathing all have healing effects. They bring the nervous system back to this harmonic state. They remind the body how to sing with the universe again. Because healing is not about fixing. It's about remembering your natural frequency. You are not broken. You are an instrument slightly out of tune. And compassion is the hand that tunes you gently back. Even the smallest acts of kindness ripple farther than we imagine. A word spoken softly, a moment of listening, a smile offered when you could have looked away. These are micro-healings. The nervous systems of two people align, and the world tilts slightly toward light. That is how the universe repairs itself, through the tiny mercies of living beings. So if you ever feel small, remember, a single photon of light travels across galaxies without losing strength. One heartbeat of compassion can echo far beyond your lifetime. You are not insignificant. You are the universe remembering its kindness through human form. There is a place inside you where all this understanding lives already. You've felt it before, in those rare moments of stillness, when everything makes sense for no reason at all. It's the place beyond thought, beyond story. It's what mystics call the soul, and what scientists might call consciousness itself. It's the witness that never breaks, the silence that holds every sound. When you rest there, healing becomes effortless. You don't have to strive for it. You don't have to chase it. You just have to allow, like the body allows the breath, like the ocean allows the tide. Healing happens when you surrender to the rhythm of life. And forgiveness of yourself, of others, of the past, is how you find that rhythm again. In that surrender, something beautiful happens. You begin to feel the heartbeat of the earth itself. You sense that your pain and the planet's pain are not separate. When you heal, you contribute to the healing of the whole. Every act of peace you create inside yourself is felt, in ways we can't yet measure, across the fabric of existence. You are both the healer and the healed, the wave and the ocean, the question and the answer. There is a rhythm that connects everything that exists, from the spin of a galaxy to the beat of your heart. It's the rhythm of balance. Gravity holds the planets in their orbits. Magnetism binds the atoms that form your cells. And emotion, that mysterious current of energy inside you, is simply gravity of the soul. It pulls your attention, bends your experience, and draws you toward what needs to be seen. Every feeling you've ever had, joy, grief, fear, wonder, is not just chemical, it's also cosmic. Your emotional energy ripples through the electromagnetic field that surrounds your body. Physicists can measure it, a faint pulse of frequency, unique to you, fluctuating with your mood, your breathing, your thoughts. When you're calm, it's steady. When you're anxious, it vibrates in chaos. And yet, no matter how chaotic it becomes, there's always a center, a still point of coherence inside the storm. That's where healing begins. You can feel this still point if you pause long enough. It's that moment between breaths where everything seems to stop for half a second. The heart rests, the brain quiets, the universe leans close. In that silence, you are not separate from anything. You are part of the same fabric that binds stars together. The ancients called this life force prana, ki, spiritus, breath of life. Modern science calls it bioelectric energy, the current that flows through your nerves, the voltage that keeps your cells alive. This energy is what animates you, what makes a thought turn into a heartbeat, a memory into motion. And when it moves freely, you feel whole. But when trauma or grief interrupt its flow, it gets tangled, like a river dammed by fallen branches. The water doesn't disappear, it just waits for the block to be cleared. And your healing is the gentle unblocking of that river. Every emotion carries a frequency. Anger is fast and sharp, fear is tight and erratic, grief is low and heavy. And love moves slowly, like light through honey. When you fill yourself with love, even silently, you retune your entire electromagnetic field. Your heart sends rhythmic waves that realign your body's systems. Your brain begins to follow the pattern. It's coherence, the ultimate language of healing. You can practice this right now. Close your eyes. Feel your heart. Don't try to fix anything. Just feel it beat. Then imagine that each beat is sending a pulse of soft golden light through your body, through the room, into the night air. That light is not imagination, it's awareness. And awareness is the universe's most powerful form of energy. When scientists look into deep space, they see background radiation, the echo of creation itself, still humming from the birth of the universe. That faint light touches everything, including you. Right now, that radiation is passing through your body, through your atoms, through your thoughts. You are literally bathed in the leftover warmth of the Big Bang. That means that healing isn't something you have to summon. It's already here, woven into the very fabric of existence. Every atom in you has been through 1,000 lifetimes. A star, a stone, a seed, a sigh. Each carries wisdom older than memory. Your body is made of history, and history knows how to mend itself. It's done it countless times, through extinction and renewal, through collapse and rebirth. And now it's doing it through you. Even gravity participates in your healing. When you lie down to rest, the pull of the earth draws your blood evenly, relieving pressure, calming the heart. When you walk barefoot on the ground, electrons from the earth's surface balance your body's charge. This is not mysticism, it's measurable. They call it grounding or earthing. It reduces inflammation, slows the pulse, and helps the body remember its original connection to nature. You are not separate from the earth. You are one of its expressions. And as the earth heals, you heal. When rain falls, it is the planet cleansing itself, just as your tears cleanse you. When lightning strikes, it balances the atmosphere's charge, just as breath balances yours. Nature is always seeking equilibrium. So are you. Healing is not an achievement. It's a return to natural balance. Somewhere deep in your cells, there's a memory of perfect order. A time when you were nothing but potential, a single spark dividing, multiplying, forming into organs and light and thought. That intelligence still lives inside you. It's what closes your wounds, digests your food, restores your heartbeat every time you sleep. You don't command it. You trust it. Healing is a form of trust, and trust is gravity of the spirit. It pulls you back home to the center of yourself, to that small, steady space where you know without words that you are held. The deeper science goes, the closer it comes to this truth. The universe is not cold or indifferent. It is relational. It interacts, listens, responds. Even subatomic particles communicate through entanglement, dancing in harmony across distances we can't comprehend. Your thoughts, too, are waves in that ocean. They matter. They shape. They heal. When you think gently of yourself, you alter your chemistry. When you choose patience instead of panic, you change your brain's neural wiring. Every small moment of kindness creates measurable shifts in your body's electromagnetic field. Healing, then, is not a miracle. It's a science of compassion. So let yourself soften. Let gravity pull you down onto the earth tonight. Let the planet's heartbeat align with yours. Feel how everything, the stars, the sky, the soil, the silence, is breathing with you. This is not imagination. This is unity made real. You are not healing alone. You never were.